Hello and welcome back to Overbooked. I'm Amanda and today we're going to be doing another zero waste tip video. Since this month is Women's History Month, I thought I would do something that relates to females and menstruating individuals. So I want to talk about how to be zero waste or low waste on your period. I know that a lot of people don't like talking about their periods. A lot of people don't like talking about period products, or there's like this huge taboo thing around it, but I think that we're getting to a point where we can start normalizing periods because they're normal, they happen, and they're just a part of our bodies, and there's nothing unnatural or wrong about them. So don't feel like icky or that you're gross. It's just this part of life that we deal with. But since there's so many people, half the population is menstruating, and that means that that's a lot of waste going into our landfills. And so I'm going to throw some stats at you. I'll link all the sources that I found these below. But in 2018, people in the US bought 5.8 billion tampons. Over a single menstruator's life, they will use somewhere between 5 and 15,000 pads and tampons. And the majority of those will end up in the landfill. And I was trying to think 5 to 15,000 kind of seems low. Like if you start menstruating at age 12 to when do you stop menstruating? Whenever you hit menopause, let's say roughly 50. I feel like that's just a lot. I don't know. I feel like that number should be higher. In the United States alone, about 12 billion pads and 7 billion tampons are discarded each year. So that's a lot of menstruating products just in the landfill. And so then we also have the issue of the applicators and flushing these products down the toilet, which you're not supposed to do. And tampon applicators can not only fill our landfills, some of them clog our sewer systems, and they can end up contributing to plastic in the ocean. So it can take 20 years for a plastic applicator to break down in a marine environment. So that's all of those, that big number I said, 7 billion tampons are discarded each year. Just 7 billion times 20. How long will it take for all those to break down? It's a lot. It's a lot. But what I'm here today to tell you is that you have choices in your lovely flow of the month. You have alternatives that you can use that are easier for me to manage, and I think are somewhat safer to put into your body. Or, and at the end of this, clearly you can just watch, you can listen, and if none of these options work for you, that is completely fine. And you can continue on as normal, because I want people to do what is ever comfortable for them. And if you don't think it's comfortable for you, or you don't think it's gonna work, don't do it. So the number one tip that I have, and it is what I use for my period, is the Diva Cup. I know the Diva Cup is really intimidating, and I understand, because before I started using it, I was like, what the fuck are you guys telling me that I'm gonna put that in my hoo-ha? No, it is actually really, really easy, and the instructions are pretty clear on the packaging, and you have a couple practice tries, and it is really simple. And then you can actually have it in for 15 hours. So I will put mine in, and then I will empty it at night, and then I will empty it in the morning, and that's the only time that I bother with it. Versus when I had a tampon, I felt like I had to change it what is it that you can't have it in longer than, I don't even remember. It was 8 hours, I think, is the max you can have it in. But I think I changed mine really frequently. Almost every other time I went to the bathroom, I would change my tampon. It definitely it's a lot less maintenance for me in that regard. And then after I'm done with it, I just boil a pot of water, and I let it sit in the boiling water for 5 minutes and put it away. And that's it. And it's just really easy. And the upfront cost is, I think I paid $35 for it. But I think, as we all know, those of us that are watching this and menstruate, tampons are pretty expensive. It's $7 to $8 for a box. And you're buying those every time. So I think that I've saved a crazy amount of money investing in the Diva Cup. I haven't bought a box of tampons since I've bought it, and I've had it for 2 years now. So it's amazing. It's also nice during this little coronavirus outbreak because it's one less thing I have to worry about that I need to make sure that I have in my apartment. So the other option that you could have is, I don't know if I could handle this one, but I think it works for a lot of other people, is reusable pads. And you can buy these from, I think that a lot of zero waste shops have them. I think you can get them on Etsy. I think you could just do a simple Google search. I've seen them around a lot because I follow a lot of zero waste people, but I can see that I can find a shop and like link it below. The third option that I think is really great, and I actually want to start incorporating into my cycle, is reusable underwear. And there's a huge brand, I'm sure everyone that's watching this has heard of them, is Thinx. And it's just absorbing underwear that you can wear while you're on your period. And you would obviously have to buy several pairs, and then you could just wear those while you're on your period. Those are also pretty steep, I think, for underwear, but I mean, also they're designed especially for your period. So I think that's why they are more expensive. But I have thought about getting a pair for when I'm near the end of my cycle and I don't feel like putting the Diva Cup in and my period's lighter. I can just throw on a pair of Thinx. I think they range from like $20 to $30 per pair. So I thought about buying like 3 and then just having them on hand for at the end of my cycle. Again, I think these are really an investment because you're paying that much for underwear, but then you will never buy tampons or pads again, theoretically. I will say that these are definitely a higher cost investment than the Diva Cup. So if that's something you're like, I don't know if I could really spend money on that, then that's totally fine. I think that for me, those would be one of the things that I would have to like buy slowly over time. Like I'd be like, okay, well, I'll buy 2 pairs now, and then I'll buy maybe another 2 pairs in like 6 months, and like would just build my collection from there. I can link the Thinx website below and you can check them out for yourself. And then obviously if those 3 don't work for you, I think clearly sticking to whatever you do right now is fine. I think maybe you're trying to explore like all organic tampons, or just making sure what you're putting into your body. I think that a lot of like synthetic materials are put into tampons, and that's what we're putting into our bodies. So I think it's really important to kind of know what's going on and be aware of that when we're purchasing. But I mean, some of us don't really have the luxury of taking the time or energy to do that. So if that's even like, you know what, whatever, I'm just gonna stick to, what are the fucking products? What are the brand names? Whatever. I keep picturing the box. It's like green and purple. If that's the one that you just want to keep sticking to and you just want to keep going with your life, that's totally fine. I think that these are definitely great options to think about. And if you're a person that's like, yeah, I think the Diva Cup would work for me, I would love for you to try it. I honestly am so glad that I switched to a Diva Cup, and I am like, I don't think I'd ever go back, ever. It's very nice. It's so easy, but you gotta do what's right for you. So those are my tips and suggestions for when you are menstruating. If you have another tip or suggestion that you think I missed, please leave it in the comments below, or put in the comments below what you would like me to talk about next. Otherwise, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time.